Hello everyone, I'm here today to work on another layout in my road trip 2017 Traveler's Notebook insert. I've done the opening page so far and that's it. So I'm moving on to the next page. As you can see here, I have sorted out the photos to figure out where they're going to go for each layout. So I like to do that just so I know how much of this I'm going to fill and to space it out correctly if possible. So I find that helpful. I'm kind of a planner, and so that helps me. But as you can see, I'm way at the beginning. So this is really the first full layout that isn't the opening. So I'm going to move on to this one. And one thing I did decide to do a little bit differently now is I have actually started this whole big clear bag full of stuff that's good for TNs. It's hard to see, but it actually says on it, scraps for TNs. That's what this wording is. Because a lot of times when I'm making other types of layouts, I have all of these scraps that are left over, and they tend to be good sized for what goes in here because you're looking at about 4x8 in general for a standard size. So these are all things that I think would work in there. And then I do also have some papers that were specifically made for TNs. So I've dropped those in there as well because obviously I know those are sizes that will fit. Come on, camera. Focus. There we go. So I've tried to keep those all together, and hopefully it'll make it easier for when I go to do a layout. I'll have most of what I need right here. Right away when I was looking at these photos, the green jumped out at me. So when I had that bag of scraps for TNs, I saw these. This is perfect. It's green, it has leaves on it, and then this just brings in an extra little bit of color because it's got blue and brown in it as well. So I think what I'll probably do is cut this a little bit so it will completely fit on one side vertically, and then take the scrap and overlap it somehow on this other piece. Not totally sure yet, but at least I have the papers picked out that I think will work. I decided to take that piece of green leaf paper and cut it in half so that I have one piece for each side. And then here's the little chunk that's left from having cut off part of this strip. And this will go over here somehow. I'm not sure if I'm going to overlap it similarly to what's on this side or if I'll put it horizontal instead. I'm not sure. But at least this will get me started by having these two pieces, and it will help make the whole layout look cohesive from one page to the next. So I figured out how to adhere everything. I decided to overlap a little bit here, overlap a little bit here, and then put these at an angle from each other just to draw the eye around the layout. So I have that done. Now I have to figure out what kind of extra goodies do I want to go on here. So that's what's up next. I dug out some things from my stash of travel items, and I've decided to use these elements if I can fit them in there. Beautiful places, getaway, fantastic day. This is kind of a very neon green, yellowy green, but I think I can fit it somewhere. And then I just have a little chipboard geotag, but the blue matches very nicely, so I want to fit that in as well. So I have put down the phrase pennants, flags, labels, whatever you want to call them. I put those down. So I have all of those adhered already, and then I just need to figure out where I'm going to put this. I was thinking maybe up here because it's kind of blank and it would help bring in some of the blue, but I also like the idea of maybe having it here so that this is all a cluster, maybe overlapping a little bit. I have to leave this part for a little bit of journaling, so I'm just not sure. So I'm still thinking about that, but once I figure it out, I will adhere it and then I'll be back. I did decide to put the geotag up here at the top of the left-hand page, and I'm happy with that. I like the way it looks, but it feels very flat to me. It feels like something is missing. So I think what I'm going to do is put on some of these black rhinestones, and black might be a little bit stark, but I think it'll be okay here because there are black posts here and black around the windows and doors. And then Glensheen, the name of the property, is also in black. So I think it'll coordinate quite well. So I'm going to try putting a couple of these on and see how it looks. I did put down the rhinestones. I did 3, so I'd have a visual triangle, and I love just the little pop that they added. That black really ties it together nicely, I think. And then I decided I would do some journaling lines down here, also in black. I always do those in black, and that ties it in too. So I think that as a design feature, it all definitely works. And so then I'm just going to fill in my journaling down there. And I just made my own lines. I just use a piece of paper to make sure it's fairly straight. I just take my pen and make the lines myself. Nothing too fancy. So really for this one, it's done. I'll fill in my journaling off camera. But here's my first full layout done in my 2017 road trip album. And I'm so happy with it. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thanks, everybody.